who you wound up supporting in the election, presidential election.
None of your business.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it.
When somebody does not do the job, we got to let them go.
These are times celebrities destroyed wokeness, like this situation when actor Denzel Washington was asked by a journalist who he voted for, and he gave this response.
Mr. Washington, you're here in D.C. during an interesting time with the transition in the White House. Just wondering who you wound up supporting in the election and why.
Go ahead now. Fences.
How about this? I don't know if you saw it. There's a fake news story going around. It got thousands of shares online. You saw that. And I just thought you might want to clear it up because people are confused.
There's a few words that start with F and end with K, but that one ends with E, but it starts with F.
Yeah, but just too vague. You got to be specific right now. F, K, and E.
What was the question?
Well, that was a question. Who you wound up supporting in the election, presidential election?
None of your business.
None of my business?
None of your business.
Well, I'm only asking.
Then the journalist asked him to comment about the reforms Donald Trump should conduct. Denzel's response left the journalist speechless.
Let me ask you this. What issue do you hope President-elect Trump tackles? What's number one in your mind with the new administration?
I don't know. I'd have to be more informed to just say off the top of my head the number one issue. I'm not sure. Education, jobs, health. I mean, there's so many.
When asked about race relations in America, Denzel gave a powerful response to all the woke people out there.
Right now, under President Obama, over the last 8 years, in your mind, have race relations improved under his leadership?
Race relations have to do with race relationships. You're white or whatever you are. I'm black or whatever I am. We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. You can't legislate love. The President of the United States can't legislate us into liking each other. We have to step forward and ask questions about each other and engage. There's no law that says, because I'm president, you all got to get along now.
On a more serious note, legendary actor Morgan Freeman was asked about Black History Month, to which he responded with,
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? Well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
All right. I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
Next up is Gina Carano, who still remains undefeated. She's a former MMA fighter and later changed her career into acting, starring in the blockbuster Star Wars movie, The Mandalorian. During the height of her fame, Carano shared a social media post that showcased her support for Jewish during the Holocaust.
Nazi Germany didn't start just with people just waking up being Nazis and demonizing, throwing Jews into the concentration camps. It didn't start there. It started before that. It started with propaganda. You had to kind of start urging people to make it okay to demonize your neighbor and to hate people for whatever differences it was. At that time, it was Jewish people.
Immediately after the post went viral, Disney fired Carano and made sure that she would not appear further in any Star Wars projects.
As soon as my cancellation happened, I had reporters showing up. I had drones looking at my place because it looked out onto the ocean, and there was drones popping up. There was people in vans, and there was people following me. I was just very exposed, which was very dangerous of Disney to have made the comment they did.
What did they say?
They said, we do not support Gina. We're not going to work with her anymore based off of her. Something about cultural and basically calling me a racist.
But she's not the only one who's faced backlash. The next star, Clint Eastwood. Actor, director, and producer with a career spanning over 6 decades, has always been known for his libertarian views that often clashed with Hollywood's liberal views. Unlike most stars who stay quiet, Eastwood took a bold stance on his conservative opinion. He famously spoke at the 2012 Republican National Convention, addressing an empty chair that represents President Obama.
Absolutely crazy. You're getting as bad as Biden.
Despite his controversial statements, Eastwood continues to prove his presence in Hollywood as strong as ever. Next up is Russian MMA legend Khabib Nurmagomedov, who shares the funniest moment on the list when businessman Patrick Bet David asks him how many genders exist in Russia.
A very technical question for you. I know you're a math guy, and this one may be a tough question for you. If you're uncomfortable answering this one, I'm totally okay with that. In America, we have a few hundred genders. How many genders do you guys have in Russia? Just very, I know you're a math guy, that's why I'm asking. I think maybe there's a...
Like... Here is like, I see only women and men. There is no between.
Got it.
No between.
Further, he reveals a personal story on how hard it is to use a bathroom in California.
First time in my life, couple weeks ago, and I was in California, I was like, on coffee shop, it's like, I really want to go bathroom. It's like, can I go bathroom? Okay, they told me code, and I'm coming like, 2 bedroom, all gender. It's like, what is this? Where I have to go? First time I see it, like, I stopped, like, I stayed like 5 seconds there, like, where's woman, where's man? I locked the door. Anybody inside? It's like, okay. It's like, I don't know, but I grew up in very traditional place, with very traditional family. I'm very happy with this. Like, I'm from big mountains, and we have only 2 gender.
Next up is Matthew McConaughey. During a speech, boldly expressed the traditional values he felt were lacking in the entertainment industry.
We need to invest in mental health care. We need to save for schools. We need to restrain sensationalized media coverage. We need to restore our family values. We need to restore our American values. And we need responsible gun ownership. Responsible gun ownership. We need background checks. We need to raise the minimum age to purchase an AR-15 rifle to 21. We need a waiting period for those rifles. We need red flag laws and consequences for those who abuse them. These are reasonable, practical, tactical regulations to our nation, states, communities, schools, and homes. Responsible gun owners are fed up with the Second Amendment being abused and hijacked by some deranged individuals.
But this next moment was even more powerful. Joy Behar, the talk show host, tried to label him anti-gun out of nowhere.
Before deciding to focus on your family,
Yep.
do you think political office is in your future? Can you see that?
If it's where I would deem myself to be most useful?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, as far as office, I will always measure what category I can be most useful. Let me go through this part of my time.
Do you think you could get elected in Texas being anti-gun?
Do I think I could get elected in Texas being anti-gun? One thing about if me in politics is to give you a direct statement right there is be playing a game that I'm not interested in playing.
Okay.
To give you a direct statement right there.
Next up, Ricky Gervais, the bold British comedian behind The Office. He's made a reputation for crossing the line and never backing down from controversy, especially when he hosted the Golden Globes.
You probably know me as the creator of The Office. No, you don't, do you?
You think Steve Carell did it all? Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he, Steve Carell? He's amazing as the bumbling office manager. Where does he get his ideas from? Let's pay him hundreds of millions of dollars and put him in every movie. If you can't be bothered to go to the cinema to see Steve in action, then just watch him every Thursday here on NBC.
While Ricky used his comedy to change Hollywood norms, the next star worked behind the scenes to influence the industry in a more direct way. Quentin Tarantino appeared on a talk show and exposed how toxic woke culture has changed Hollywood.
Look, this happens. This comes in waves. This absolutely comes in waves. All right, so it's like, okay, just looking at the 40s. All right, that was during the wartime, but that's also the time that you had film noir, where you actually, even though with the Hays Code, you had these dark, dark stories that were being told. But then after the war was won, then you had the 50s, which was the first of the completely homogenized decades, where you couldn't say shit if you had a mouthful, all right? And every bestseller, every play that was turned into a movie, if there was anything sexual about it or anything, that's all going to be drained out of the movie. It's going to be weaned out of the movie. It's just the way it is. And then, to me, it's one of the worst decades in Hollywood.